राहों में खौफ का गुबार है, आंखों से चैन भी फरार है। राहों में खौफ का गुबार है, आंखों से चैन भी फरार है। आहें भरते इंतजार में बैठे हैं, होश आएगा उन्हें। तू आग है, तू ढाल है, समर्ज पाएगा। हल्ला बोल रे हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल। फिक्र का न जिक्र है, सहम गया है वक्त। दूर था धुआं तो उसमें घुट रहा है अब। रेत साफ फिसल रहा है, समय समझ है, समय समझ। आग है, तू ढाल है, समर्ज पाएगा। हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल रे हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल रे हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल, हल्ला बोल।
It's Monday, Kinsman.
It is Monday.
It's right.
yes.
Are you jealous? Because I have a very intelligent person next to
Oh,
me, Mark.
come on.
I'm not used to that around here.
Very
you know?
intelligent.
Surrounded by intelligence today.
Will it rub off on Klomp? That's the
Well,
question.
probably, I'm just sucking his brainwave in. But how awesome is this? But
Yeah, we've got an author in studio
That's
tonight.
right.
Yes.
I'm going to ask him after you. We always do introductions about halfway through the show, by the way. But I'm going to ask a little bit later if we were to be characters in the book.
Oh my God.
Mark's the little girl that screams and goes through the wrong door and gets killed.
I go down the staircase, no lights, right after the mask axe wielding maniac goes down the staircase.
That's right. And I'm the detective.
That'd be my character.
I'm the detective that's depressed that could have saved you, but went to the bottle instead. But anyways, let's start with some introductions.
Yes, we have a self-published author in studio from Prescott, Ontario, has made the drive all the way to Studio 67 just to be on tonight's show. Craig Baumken.
Yes, look at this.
And his crime fiction novel is, it has parts of Timmins in it.
Well, yeah.
It's called Just a Normal Day, and we're here to talk about the book and maybe find out what he talks about in Timmins in the pages, which I do believe kick in on page 35 and beyond.
Actually, it's chapter 35.
Chapter 35.
That's right. But she's a big enough book, so we've got, it's about 55% of the book talks about Timmins,
So we should say a couple things before we get rocking and rolling here. We're giving away a Midtown Bowl family pass tonight.
Family pass, which is good for your family. You get one lane, includes shoe rental to go hang out with Nat at Midtown Bowl.
There we go. But mostly importantly, we're giving away a copy of the book.
Yes, and it's going to be professionally signed by Craig himself to the winner.
There we go.
Isn't that awesome?
It's an amazing thing. So the book we're talking about tonight is true crime. So is your passion, is it always in true crime, or do you go in other genres?
It actually happened by accident.
Okay.
I had a background of writing and always wanted to write a book and didn't know what to write about. And then one day I was sitting in a bar in Ottawa and a drunk became my new best friend. Patted me on the back, hey buddy, let's do some shots. And all of a sudden the idea went from there. And then I just took all my life experiences and just started creating and winding, and the story literally grew. I honestly, when I started, didn't know what I was writing about. I didn't know where it was going to go.
I'm thinking that might have been me. I went to college down there, and I was known to tend a pub and have a couple Long Island's too. So maybe it was me that inspired you.
Would have been a different title for KLOMP being included.
Yeah, that's right. But true crime, especially in the last decade, it's humongous now. People are just can't turn away from. Why do you think that is?
Because I think it's just like movies, right? Like it's just like movies. They attract people, right? It's entertainment. You can, even with writing a book, you can check your brain at the door. You can be entertained for 2 hours, or in the case of a book, entertained for as long as you want. And I think it allows people sort of an escape. And there's nothing wrong with that.
An escape from
reality. Escape from reality,
Escape
and
from reality.
they get to read about it,
Even if it is grim, people love grim,
well,
right?
absolutely. If it bleeds, it leads, right?
And we should say, tied in with reality, ultra reality, your book's for sale down the street there on 3rd Ave.
Absolutely. Mike's a great guy. Walked in, saw him, and he's got my book there on the shelf. Yep. It can be found there. Yeah.
And you just said a cliche. Mark is the king of cliches in this office. What was that? If it bleeds, it leads. Have you heard that one there, Mark?
If it bleeds, it leads.
He loves a new cliche.
Yes, there we go.
I'm going to hear that one.
Going to tuck that one away. You're going to hear it for the next 3 weeks here.
If you read the book, there's a ton of cliches in there. I pulled everything out like that. Yeah, I did. I pulled everything out.
Well, if you ever need some help, Mark knows every cliche known to man. He loves them.
I do.
Well, there we go. So let's chat a little bit about your history first. So what I'm always really inspired by people who write a book, because this is a big commitment. What process besides sitting at the bar and maybe someone inspired me, what really made you want to get into writing?
Well, the truth was, and we've all been there, I was in a career that I didn't really like anymore. I had a relationship that ended, my kids, the empty nest syndrome, and I was going, okay, what do I want to do? I was looking for something else to do, and I attended a writing workshop about how to write and publish a book in 90 days. And this person is a really cool thing, because especially with COVID now, everybody's publishing and writing books. So I decided to jump on the bandwagon with that. But then initially the book was going to be a quick bucket list, move on, and then all of a sudden, I honestly don't even know where it came from. All of a sudden the ideas in my head started coming. One of my favorite movies is Roadhouse. And I pulled a lot of things from there and put it into the story. And I think what I didn't realize was I have a very creative imagination. I started writing, and that's really what it was. And it just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing.
And here you are.
And here I am.
As a self-published author, it's hard to get your name out there.
It is very hard, and you do a lot of marketing, a lot of door knocking. I mean, I came up to Timmins Public Library, got my book in there, Mike at Altered Reality. You walk in, you've got to sell yourself, just like what you guys have to do every day. You got to walk in and sell your product, and you hope that it's good. And as I was saying to you guys, how Timmins came about was my daughter was working for Porter Airlines, and she said, "Dad, you know, you can fly to Timmins for $25 standby." And all of a sudden, I had nowhere to take the story. And I came up here on a whim and fell in love with Timmins, and that was true.
And that's how Timmins ended up being a part of the book.
Exactly.
I was a little bit worried because you're probably sitting at home thinking of gloom and doom, and then you found Timmins. Oh, hopefully that's not true.
Well, no. So in fairness, back in 2015, I spent a year in Iqaluit for work.
Okay.
And there was something about the north that always attracted me. So when I came up here, I know that's not as north as Iqaluit. Something about the north just really attracted me. So when I came and I had this taxi driver, which I can't recall his name now, drove me around town this one weekend, and I saw all these different places, and I went, this works. I don't know how to describe it. It just worked. So I drove, and then I did the drive, because purposely, I came back a month later. I needed to do that long drive because I realized my character in the book, he was driving, he wasn't flying.
So you needed to experience the drive.
To be honest, I needed to feel tired. I needed to drive Highway 11 and battle those trucks because that's actually in the story there. He has a couple of close calls with trucks and such like that, yeah.
When you write a book, what's more important, character development or the story? And I know both are, but if you had to pick the left or the right, because I think character development is it's really important, but a lot of people find success in building a series.
Yeah, so in my case, and what I learned too is there's a lot of different ways people can write books. What came for me was originally I had the story idea and I had the single character, which in this case is Pete Humphreys. And I had that first character. I had, believe it or not, I had the beginning of the book and I had the last line of the book before I had anything else. And then I fit everything into the middle. And then as I started writing, I started adding and creating characters. It's almost like when you're sitting at the kitchen and you're making spaghetti sauce or you're making something and you're building something and you start pulling stuff from the cupboard and such like that. And so it's all the ingredients. And I just started, again, one of the nice things was, especially when I came to Timmins, was I'd meet interesting people. You'd be into Broadway Diner and you see people sitting there and you talk to people and all of a sudden they became part of your book. You could take characteristics or visions of the people or simple conversations, and then the more I traveled and the more I got out there, the more I was able to generate characters and put them in the book.
That's interesting. Do you have one of those, whiteboards with all the sticky notes at home?
Oh yeah,
like a true
Pieces of
detective, right?
Pieces all over the place.
Yes. I had my wall was covered with paper, pictures, everything, and sometimes from the internet too, and I just, everything was visual for me. And then I went to the club, oh my God, the first time I went to Club 147, because they're in the book, I call them the club in the book, right? And I went in on a Friday night, and it was, 10, 11 o'clock, I was terrified. Because I didn't know what was going to happen. No, nothing happened, right? But here you are in Timmins, and you're up north, and you're going into Pullock, because I had done the same thing in North Bay. I'd done the same thing in Peterborough. And when I was 25, I would go into those places and get in fights and get my ass handed to me. And because when you're 25, that's what you do. But now when you're older, you don't want to do that anymore.
You want to actually go and play.
You just want to go in.
Right.
You want to
beat someone
you
with
want
the
to
pool
have a
cue.
beer. And but when I went in the clubs, I would just try and get the feel, right? I'd hang, shoot pool by myself, talk to people if people were around. And then just try and, draw from that,
Well, Kinsman and I were never scrappers, nor were we lovers. I don't know what we were, Kinsman, but we definitely weren't getting into any pool hall
not
brawls.
to get into any fights.
Maybe this is why we're not authors. We don't have
we're not authors,
all
or we're not
stories.
characters in Craig's book, but he does make reference to Club 147. You said the Broadway next door. What other Timmins references are in the book for you?
We have the McIntyre Arena. And I used that Timmins Rock, and they played Rayside Belford that night.
Okay.
In the book anyway, and it was a backdrop there, but it was really cool walking around the rink because I'm a hockey guy. And the night I went in there, it was the classic case, all the kids running around, all the people standing in the groups and the conversations and the smells, and that really stood out for me. Gillis Lake Conservation Area.
Yeah.
I walked around that many times. That's a beautiful place.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is gorgeous.
Beautiful area.
It's a hidden gem.
It is.
Midtown Bowl. The disco night, because Pete and the character Mo fall in love right there under the disco ball.
Okay.
Doing some rock and roll.
They were doing some rock and roll.
That's where relationships are made and broken, by the way.
Right?
Value Village, which I heard, which you told me is gone.
Value Village is gone. So you've got history in the book now.
Well, yeah, and then there was a day I was in Value Village and I felt creepy because I was walking up and down the aisles trying to get a feel for the story, right? And I thought maybe they might think I was like casing the joint. And I was like the outer aisles and working my way around, and here we are at Value Village.
Security, we've got Craig in aisle 7.
Exactly. I mean, what are you going to steal at Value Village? But anyway, it was, and to be honest with you, there was the one corner I found some old tweed sports jackets, some old ski stuff, and I thought, oh my God, that fits perfectly because it's the North, right? You don't have all the modern stuff, you know, that you might have down in Toronto or whatever. And I thought, oh my God, it fit perfectly. And then a senator, which I called the ambassador. And my character, when you come down, when you come into town and you at the railway overpass and you see the big senator sign, right? As soon as I saw that, I said, oh, that's perfect. So I changed the name because it's better that way. But then my character always stayed at the ambassador. Yeah.
Is it hard when you're developing characters not to showcase some of your personality in these characters or people that you know, because you draw or you just start with a blank canvas and just create someone who you envision it to be?
No, for me it'd be a vision of someone, and then I would pull sometimes their characteristics or just a vision of them, but that person would have completely different mannerisms. But I would have a vision in my head, which in truth may not translate to the book. I mean, the reader won't see the vision in my head, but that allowed me to write it. Yeah, a lot of times it was people that had come in and out of my life. Like in Just a Normal Day, there's 34 different characters that move in and out of the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it felt like the Wizard of Oz. You know, it was like all these characters moving in and about, but it was where my character, Pete, he was the main one in the book, but it was all the people moving in and out of his lives.
Right.
Right? And I know that sometimes readers, you know, may have trouble keeping up, but the reality was it was the central character. This is what his life was. This is what was happening. And all these people were moving in and out. And they all had an impact on him on some level. Some extreme, but every single person had an impact on him.
So using slight variation. So if you ever create anyone that's named Jamie Bump that tells jokes no one laughs at, I'm going to have to say something that smells fishy here.
Ran into Jamie Bump after a bite at the Broadway.
He did a stand-up and it was all crickets. So like, this is getting pretty close. He was having, do folks ever come to you and say, hey, listen, I think you may be telling my story here?
No, I'm laughing because what I get all the time, put me in the book.
Well, put you in the book.
As soon as you tell somebody you're a writer, almost every time, can you put me in the book?
Well,
hey, I got a story for you.
We asked that 30 seconds after you came here.
Well, you know what? I think I can fit you in the sequel.
The sequel?
Because we've got to come back up, yeah. And the sequel's called Everything You've Heard Is True.
Everything
Which
You've
is a
Heard
great
true.
Play on words
That's
when you
where
think about it.
Bumpkin comes in.
Well, there you go.
Bumpkin, that's right.
Were we brothers?
Yeah, we're twins.
Yeah.
This is why I'm trying to grow a beard to catch up to him.
That's it,
Yeah. Who do you think between Mark and I would actually survive like a true crime, like a murder? Who do you think would be the sole survivor? None of us, but you have to choose one.
They'd off you quick.
Me, I'm done for already.
Yeah, you'd be done quick. You'd probably hang in for a bit.
Oh, this kid's been hanging in.
He's got the deep voice, eh? That's what it is. It's that deep voice.
I would be dead, and then like the opening credit, like the beginning.
I'd be narrating his death.
Yeah, you'd be standing over top of him.
You would?
Yeah, you'd be there from above.
We did that in that movie skit.
We shot a horror short with Shattered Edge here in town, and that was exactly it. I was dying, and Kinsman just left me to bleed
I came
out.
to check his pulse and ran away.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when Pete gets to Timmins, he lands in the Club 147.
Right.
Immediately, the first time he's there, he gets into this barroom brawl. He gets into the, and you know what? To be honest, you'd be the guy that would have come up and antagonized Pete. I could picture that.
Really?
You'd be the calm guy standing in the background there, you know, with the arm around the girl.
I was,
and you'd be,
I was stole Pete's girlfriend and then got my teeth knocked out.
So these are all based on true experiences from you, because I'm guessing Pete is technically you in this book.
Yeah. That's a very double-edged sword.
Okay. Yeah.
But in truth, it is. I found it easy and hard to write at the same time.
Yeah.
There was moments when it was like, oh my God, I can't. This will never see the light of day, because in truth, it is very soul-bearing. Right? Because you are writing. In truth, you're writing about yourself, and you're writing. I am flawed. I mean, but then who isn't? And I took a lot of experiences and a lot of choices and decisions that maybe didn't work out, and then created the story from it. Yeah.
Because it's hard. Well, it's hard to boast about yourself, but it's also hard to be self-critical, especially if you have family. Because I know you mentioned your kids are older, especially when they're younger.
Oh, yeah.
How many mistakes do you admit to, and how much are life lessons? Like, there's a few boo-boos I haven't told yet, and I don't think I'm ever going to tell the
He's taking them to the grave.
old kids veneer. I know you ain't no angel either, but
Wait till I MC your wedding.
yeah, that's right.
Anybody have anything to say? Pass the mic around.
It's not open.
It's
Hopefully,
like
it's
an
not
open mic.
Open mic night, but it's a very personal experience.
So
right?
it was interesting. So here's something I learned about myself when you're writing a book. Because the main character is about myself, I had a friend of mine who was editing my book, and thank God for her. Because at one point, and I don't want to spoiler alert, but at one point, Pete does something really bad. And subconsciously, when I wrote it, I was letting him off the hook. And she came back, my friend Melissa said, look, whoa, you cannot let him off the hook. And I was realizing I was protecting myself. It was a valuable lesson I learned as a writer. And then, so I had to go back and rewrite that part, which was painful, but I actually had to, I had to make me, Pete, pay for that choice. But it was,
pay for that.
Yeah, it was very
life
interesting.
lesson.
It was, yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because you have someone that's going to give you a fair critique of your book. You know, you have people who are fans and supporters that will like everything, and then you have people in life that don't like anything. And I think that's probably one of the biggest difference between, you know, being independent is the fact that you don't have a corporate editor looking it over and branding it their way. Is that a pro or a con?
It's a challenge. Actually, if you can, and I lucked out with my friend Melissa, right, was you get someone that tells you what you need to hear. And as long as you can handle that, you're right, it's great. The editing part, you hire, when you self-publish, you hire some editors to do your work. And the first editor I hired didn't like my book and wanted to change it, wanted to change a lot of things. And that's where you learn, even though you're paying money, where sometimes you have to trust your instinct. And I said no, and I went and got another editor. But it's a challenge, right? Because I mean, someone's criticizing your work, and you're trying to think, okay, I don't know if I agree with you. But you have to also be smart enough sometimes to actually take that criticism and use it. And it's which one do you listen to? Which one do you know?
Thick skin.
Oh yeah, you learn. Yeah, you learn that one quickly. Yeah.
You need it. What we do too. We're going to get Ronnie to post the link where you can purchase the book, and we're going to post your website here in a second. But to me, it's I just started getting into it this weekend, and I'm going to continue on and have a copy.
Yeah. I'm going to open up the pages, and this is the new
Yeah.
bestseller.
Well, you get it after me, KINZ.
And again, we should
Stealing my
say,
book.
you know, it's not on the international bestsellers list yet, but you do have some very prestigious awards out of the gate with this one.
Yeah, I've won. So what you can do is you enter your book into these what's called book contests, and it's much more involved than that, right? And so in 2022, I entered in what's called the Reader's Favorite Contest, and I won a 5-star review, which is the highest review you can get. And I got a very glowing review from someone who had never read the book, and actually he was based somewhere in the other part of the world and read about Timmins. And I thought that was really cool and really impressive, which was, I hit the ground running when I published my book, because I was able to take the review, put it on the back cover. And then back in January, I entered my book in what's called the Next Generation Indie Book Awards, which is all for anybody who's self-published a book, and this is worldwide. So I entered the contest in January, completely forgot about it. And then back beginning of June, I got an email one day and said, "Congratulations, you won."
I was no kidding.
And so what I won was, the category I entered was action adventure. And I was a finalist, and they had, I think in total, there was 10 books, and there was a tie for first place. And then the rest of us were finalists, the 6 or 7 of us. But think about it, this is an international award. And again, Timmins takes up 55% of the book. So it spoke highly, I guess. And to be honest with you, when I opened the email, I cried. I just, you think of all the hard work that you put into it, and all of a sudden somebody has recognized it. You know, and it was a feeling that was so powerful. Yeah,
putting you on that pedestal too, with all these other amazing world-renowned authors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and here it is. I self-published it, and it didn't stoke my ego where I thought it was great, but it stoked me in the sense of, wow, I did it. Like somebody sees this. You know, because that's the hardest part of self-publish, right? Getting people to see your work.
You got to get people to see it, and you were joking off the show that your kids say, it's not cool that Dad has a book out there, a self-published book. But when you got the awards, what do they think of those?
Oh, they were very happy for me. Yeah. And the funny part to this, is you're right. My kids, they go, well, I go, Brianna, what page are you on in the book? She's like, page 23, and that was like 4 months ago. You know, and my son's, no different, but they had to be in the book. Oh yeah, there were characters in the book, and actually my son landed in 2 places because at one point I had to unkill him, which is really cool as a writer, okay? Killing killing people is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Because you can kill a person in so many different ways, in so many gruesome ways. And then if you want to change it, you just unkill them. So my son at one point, his character, I had to unkill him, so I killed him, and then I brought him to another spot, and then unkilled him. And then my daughter, actually, the Bree character, which is the bartender up here in Timmins, is a composite of my daughter. So it's pretty cool. I took my daughter, and she's got a bit of a cynical, jaded personality, just like her dad. And so anyway, but it was cool. My kids were happy to be in the book. Yeah, and that was kind of cool, actually. Put your kids in a book. Yeah.
So Fran's saying, your book is available at the Timmins Public Library.
It is.
And I mean, they've been amazing supporters of yours.
Oh my God, I
They're
walked in
very
there.
good people.
I walked in there cold 2 weeks ago, and Kaylee Rideout, like right away, it was like, oh my God, she's like, you wrote a book, da da da. She called over, I think it's Carol Ann Deemers, one of the CEOs, showed him the book I told him it was about, and like they were like, no, we'll take your book. And when I was back today, they've set me up in a local author section. Kaylee mentioned you guys, mentioned Mike at Altered Reality, and those are the kind of things that really help you, right? Those are the things you want. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, very grateful.
They're super good at
Bend over
supporting.
backwards for you there.
Because they know, like, in the creative business, it is what's the cliche? It's a long ladder to climb. Give me one here, kids.
It's a long ladder to climb.
You like that one? But it is, right?
What do they say? Dog eat dog world, eh?
Well, it is. And sometimes getting to a bestseller list or getting to a place where you could be financially stable isn't as easy as other things because there's so much fierce competition and maybe a declining audience, though I find COVID helped the book readers. More and more people got invested in reading because you were limited with options.
Well, you know what? It's just like your industry, like in truth, writing a book, like being an author is not for the faint of heart. It is really hard. And it's not glamorous when you're sitting alone and you're traveling alone and you're exhausted and you're traveling down Highway 11 and, you can barely see and, you're up at midnight and you're trying to write. And some days when you get writer's block, it can be painful and you sit there and go, I can't do this. And then you find a way. But at the end of the day, it's worth it, right? Like you find a passion and if you love it, it's, but you're right, the thick skin, yes, definitely.
You need thick skin. And again, it's nice to get the constructive criticism because everybody sugarcoats everything, that gets you nowhere.
No, you're right, and that's the thing. And it's funny because down near Peterborough in Buckhorn, Ontario, someone bought my book in Peterborough. This was back in May, and they made it. They took it as they had a book club, and my book was the May Book of the Month Club, and they reached out to me, and I went and attended their meeting, right, which is really cool. Showed up as the author, very surprised, and everything. It was great, right? But you're sitting around this room and there's all these people and they'd read my book and everything, right? And everybody really liked it except for this one person.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Tell me about this one person.
Oh my God, she didn't. She found fault with it from here to Pittsburgh. Like she just didn't like the character. She didn't like the story. In truth, she complained about. And you know what? Fair enough. She's
not going to please them all.
Nope. No. But the irony was, okay. 3 days later, I got the email about the Next Generation Indie Book Award, and I
Did you
texted.
mail that to her?
Oh, I texted the person who was in charge and said, "Don't show this to Mary. Don't show this to her."
Mary.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Mary's going to be in an upcoming book. That's it.
But no, to be honest with you, it was the first time I was taken to task, and you know what? That's okay because you can't please everybody.
No,
and not everybody's going to like it. You're right.
No.
And,
it's impossible.
You take the good with the bad.
Exactly. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. You take more of the good and
Mark's out clichéing you now. I told you you were in tough company
here.
Yeah. You ever heard that one? You take the good with the bad?
Oh yes.
Okay,
yes.
fair
I
enough.
pretty well say that to myself pretty well every day. Take the good with the bad.
Okay, so what's next? When do you start writing the next book?
You're already writing now.
Once it's published, you go on to the next one?
Pretty well. Yeah. And so originally, again, this was going to be a one-off, right?
Yeah.
And then once I started writing it, I went, oh no, I got to do more. So my next book is called Terra. And I did a stint as a school bus driver down in Prescott a couple of years ago. And one day I had to go to the Flying J truck stop in Napanee, Ontario to pick up a school bus that was being driven from Toronto we were taking back. Chatting with the server in the Denny's, all of a sudden I had this idea for a book about, her name was Tara, but it was about a female school bus driver and such. And basically it runs from Napanee along out to Cornwall. And it's a story of a school bus driver who has a tragic accident with the school bus and then ends up through her Polish Polish heritage ends up involved with a teenage sex smuggling ring and a whole bunch of different things that somewhere in my head, I was able to create a story.
Tara.
Yeah,
like
it's
it.
called Terry. Yeah,
Well,
it's really cool.
School bus has always scared me since Nightmare on Elm Street 2, where the big Freddy head ripped through the school bus. My parents warned me not to watch that.
Oh my God! So driving, anybody who's out there, if you drive a school bus, it's great, and there's nothing better about driving the big yellow buses when they're empty. Oh my God, they're nice and quiet, because when they're full, oh boy,
It's wild time. So
it is. Yeah.
How long until, give me the start to date and timeline for Tara. When you start, when you think it's going to be published? Are we talking months, a year and a half, 2 years?
Well, so Just a Normal Day took me 3 years to write it.
Okay.
Actually, it took me 2 years to write it and a third year to get it edited. So really, it was 3 years. But because it was my first book, it was starting, stopped. I moved halfway through it. There was writer's block. Tara, I started in the fall, and then actually, unfortunately, in February, I suffered a knee injury. And I had to have surgery and stuff, and I was sitting at home at my kitchen table. So I pretty well finished Tara over the last few months because there was nowhere to go and nothing to do. So a lot of times, if you have that creative speak, you can get it done pretty quickly. Everything you've heard is true. Will probably take me maybe the better part of 2 years, maybe. But it
That's
does
a big
because
commitment.
well, I don't know if there's writers out there. You might understand this too. Is sometimes you have to step away for a bit. Because you get writing and it's like it's almost like you become either too strong or you lose your creative spark. And if you step away for a bit and then come back, you find that the spark's there. And sometimes it could be 2 weeks, but it could be 2 months. So you kind of have to allow for that. Yeah, for me anyway. I mean, I don't have the glamour of some publishing company, not yet.
Right.
That says,
Maybe
okay,
after tonight.
yeah, well, maybe.
You
but,
need that one set of
do.
eyes to
do.
lock on to,
You do.
to what you're doing.
And it's hard. I ran into an author recently. She has her own publisher, but she said it took her about 6 months, and it was really, really grueling process. But she gave me some hints about how to look for it and such.
You should reach out to Jessica Trudell here from the city.
Yes.
Writingcommunity.ca is what she works at.
Okay, I will. Yeah.
And she's a great local author, and of course, gives her tips on how to branch out to other creative minds like yourself.
Well, you're always looking, and one of the things I did down in Prescott through the local library down there was back in the winter. I started a writing community, right, where we bring in local authors, and you start again using social media, Facebook,
That's
and
exactly
stuff.
what Jessica Trudell does too.
Yeah, and I've already made a lot of acquaintances. I'm actually mentoring a 17-year-old girl who's writing a children's book. So these are things where you share ideas, you write, opens doors, and the more you reach out, the more opportunities are there.
I got to ask you a question because you would know this. I battle with kinsmen all the time. How many spaces after a period?
Always throws me under the bus
He
for this
puts
one.
3 spaces after a period, this guy. That's a no-no,
No,
right?
I do too.
Oh, no, it's
I do
3
too.
now.
I'm still stuck in
2
the
is
typewriter
old school,
era.
right? It's 1 space after a
I thought it
period?
was I thought it was 1 space.
Is
It
it
is
1
one
space or
space,
2?
eh?
Space.
Don't
Oh my God.
So he goes wild with these. You can't even. You got to go down the block to find the start of the next sentence sometimes. That's the old typewriter.
That's how I'm
Yeah,
gonna not.
oh, yeah.
That's how I'm gonna end it in
Hey,
one of his books.
you-
Craig will put me down. I put too many punctuation marks.
If you wrote a novel, it'd be 320 pages, but 4 sentences.
You know what's funny? I laugh at that when you're saying about the typewriter.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see in movies, and a lot of times, and you'll see the character, whether it's male or female, and they're sitting at the table and they're with the typewriter, right? And then they get up in the morning and there's the book. It's done, overnight, and I just look at that and I just go, oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
No way.
That's right.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
it happens in a.
Yeah. You
The
get up in the
soap
morning
opera
and there's
world,
the
that's right.
manuscript and it's this big. and
See,
yeah.
I want to go back to this. First of all, hello everyone who's joining us. We're missing a bunch of hellos, by the way.
Lots of hellos. Tammy
But
tuning
see,
in.
Joanne says 1 space there, Kinsman.
Well, there you go.
We
So
need to
one
solve this.
space after the period.
Yeah, that's right.
But well, you know what? You can do 2. Just hire an editor for whatever you write, and they'll fix it for you.
Yeah, well, that'd be me. Go back and do
Oh, you two guys would be great. You guys would fight.
There's the link there.
Oh, yeah.
Ronnie's
Go check out the new book.
Yeah.
Okay,
Craig
so
Baumken.
Jarek asks, is the book available to purchase? Yes, so Ronnie, quick on the fly, has posted the Amazon link.
And it's in town here at Altered Reality.
Yeah.
And Timmins Public Library has it both to loan and for sale.
Okay.
Hey, Joanne was an English teacher, so she knows. Now, do you believe Joanne?
I believe
You don't
Joanne.
want to cross
Yeah.
Joanne.
No, you don't.
That's right. He didn't believe me, but now he believes it. There's going to be no spaces. There won't even be a period now for revenge. But I think two is the way to go before. My kids tell me that's old. Even putting a capital to start a sentence is old, they say now. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I still like my capitals.
I'm still finding my way now that I've become a writer.
Yeah.
I'm still learning too, and I still need help of editors sometimes. Yes.
Yes, that's right. You got to be very good with grammar. Like when the editor comes back, do they fix a lot of grammatical type stuff?
They do, but you know what? Here's one of the advantages of the internet now. Everybody's probably heard of Grammarly, which is the free tool that comes. I use Grammarly to write. And honestly, it fixes a lot of stuff. The secret is, though, you can't lose your voice. So Grammarly might say, okay, this particular line or paragraph has to sound grammatically correct. But you as a writer, you don't want it to sound grammatically correct. So sometimes you have to just ignore that and just stick to your own stuff.
Yeah.
But it's great for fixing up stuff.
Because
cool.
your characters can talk in slang. Or,
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of swearing in this book. I hope people aren't offended, but there's a lot
There you go.
of the F-bombs in this book.
And no one swears in Timmins. How did
Oh,
you
my good
figure
Lord.
that out?
Well, here's the thing. When you've got the ties to Timmins, the fight at Club 147,
Yeah.
will people reading that say, I wonder if that was the fight I was there?
Well, they
when
might,
Craig
yeah.
was there. Or,
Yeah.
Pete in the book.
Pete in the
Would
book,
they
yeah.
say, I wonder if he's writing about that night that we were there?
Well, there's a pretty cool motorcycle car chase that leaves Club 147 and winds through the streets over here and ends up on Pine Street. And I kind of drove that, not at those speeds, by the way, and did that many times. Yeah. Yeah, drove around trying to get the feel of, okay, where were the characters going up and down the streets? And I was doing that late at night, and I was worried that people might think I was like, here I am driving slowly along the road, Yeah, because I was trying to do late at night to get the feel, right? It's the same thing, yeah.
You got to do the research.
So the other part too is right at the Four Corners here at Mountjoy and Algonquin, right in front of the hotel.
Yeah.
When I was here a couple of years ago, the book ends there. I'm not gonna give anything away by that, but I drove that spot for 45 minutes around and around trying to get the feel, because I have to get it to where a certain spot where Pete, the character, lands with his car, right? And I kept trying to get the feel, and I couldn't get it, and I did for about 45 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, those are the little things that writers do. I mean, that's not very glamorous,
The
but
lead,
trust
char-
me.
hey, the lead character falls into a pothole and dies. Spoiler.
It's a traffic cone.
Yeah. Every city I've ever lived in
The,
has the worst roads.
and the car of choice I chose was a 1973 Chevy Nova SS.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
354 barrel with a shift.
They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah,
as they say,
yeah,
right?
and that was
That's
that
nice
was a
car,
car from my era that I had always liked.
Yeah.
So I decided I'd put that in.
That's what
And
Pete's driving.
Yeah.
the choice of music was classic 70s, right? Because that's the classic music or 70s rock that I listen to. But 8 tracks. How many out there? How many people out there know 8 tracks? There's the question. And that would be older people, yeah. So I put that in purposely. The editor actually told me to switch it to cassettes or CDs, and I said no, because growing up, 8 tracks were so bad they were good. I mean, there was nothing like, you had the 8-track in, and you actually got the matchbook cover, because it would start to wobble after a while and warble,
right.
and you'd have to jam the matchbook. As you were driving, you would jam the matchbook cover
That
into
was
the
the old
side.
day.
The
The Nintendo cartridges, when they went bad, you had to blow on the back of them.
Well, exactly. Same thing. You'd pull the tape out, blow on it, and slap it back in, and then you'd have 7, 8 songs on a tape, and then, right in the middle of the song, the track would change, all that stuff. And I put that in the book because, in truth, I know I might lose some readers, but no, that was me. I wanted that one in there for that. Yeah.
You wanted to keep that in.
I did. Yes,
Well,
I did.
that's where you go against what the editor is
Exactly,
saying.
I did, and I didn't
You followed
care.
your own gut.
I did. I didn't care, and yeah.
A couple of people online, first, Jerica says, sounds like the
No,
book
it's
for
funny.
her because of the swearing.
Oh, there you go.
And, Scott remembers the 8 tracks. Trisha says she was born in 88. So 88, that's cassettes coming on to CDs.
CDs, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Chris says I have an
CD era.
8-track and player. Oh my God, Chris, awesome. So do I. Still at home. Yes, clock radio sitting on my night table. Yeah.
You're an old school guy. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there wasn't.
I
No,
like that.
and the best part is being a writer. I got to write about it because no one could say no. I got to write about it. Yeah.
He's doing it all, Kinsman. Okay,
He's doing
so
it all.
what we're
Yeah,
going
for
to do is we are going to take a break, thank our sponsors, come back, give away the bowling passes, give away a copy of the book. We're also
Yep.
going to post a link to your webpage to let folks keep up to date of all the shenanigans you're up to and all the amazing work. And this is pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
It is.
And we're gonna
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We're gonna
This is great.
beg to be in the next book.
Into the next
we
one.
can- we can
That's
find
it.
your spot.
If
And I
he
wanna-
starts
Do you
writing
want to
about
be
a
killed or not?
I
Because I
don't know.
can kill you guys if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
what
For sure.
vehicle you say the guy pulls up in a Nissan Sentra? I'll be like, hey, that's me.
Oh my, that's your
Yeah,
fantasy?
no, I'm just
Good
kidding.
God. The book can be a fantasy. You could show up in something. No, nothing?
No,
There's no other vehicle you want to be in?
nothing
Except the
to-
one you
How about a
want?
Harley? Because there's
Yeah.
Harleys in the book
Yeah,
too, right? We
Harley
could put you on a
would
bike
work,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ronnie, roll these beautiful sponsors and we'll be right back.
back.
Smokey Robinson Events and Catering. Stop in to see them today at Full Beard Brewing. Call today, 705-232-8771. You can even find the menu on TikTok and on Instagram. In Midtown Bowl, book your summer lane now. Book a rockin' bowl. Book a birthday party, 705-267-3500. At the Stardust Festival, August 25th through September 2nd. Book now for the event gala. Friday, August 25th at 6 p.m. at Cedar Meadows. Tickets available at eventbrite.ca. And Jan's Closet, stop in to see Timmins' locally owned and operated thrift store. Jan's Closet, located 3 Burt Street North. And boost a business with Geronis Board and Kelly Lawyers, just like Week 2's winner, Northern Events and Tourism Consulting with Marnie Lapierre, who provides support to all of Ontario. Contact Marnie today, 705-274-6020. And the mini button batting cages. Book a tee time today. Take a few cuts in the batting cage, 705-264-7888. And Rock on the River, this is the week. Do you have your tickets for Dallas Smith and Papa Roach? Coming to Hollinger Park this Friday and Saturday. Tickets on sale now at rotr.ca. And the Punjabi Restaurant. Dive into the Punjabi cuisine located at 211A Algonquin Boulevard East, located right across from City Hall. And Festa Italiana invades the Dante Club this weekend. Friday, Dining Under the Stars. Saturdays, Mercado Dante. And the outdoor street concert featuring the last of the Duke Street Kings. Tickets on sale now, $20. And you can pick them up at the Dante Club. And Alzheimer's Society Duck Raffle is back September 21st at 1 p.m. Get your tickets today for $5 for a chance to win the first place prize of $5,000. And Minute Mondays, giving you a chance to win another amazing prize pack this week for reading a minimum of 20 minutes per day. Part of the TD Summer Reading Club. Draws happen every Monday live at 3:30. And DAP Cleaning Solutions, book now for your carpet cleaning, strip, and wax job today with Andrew N. Call now for your free quote, 705-465-3500. And V&M Renovations, need a bathroom reno? Call Max and Justin today for your free estimate. V&M Renovations, 705-372-3832. And the Urban Park, put on by the Downtown Timmins BIA, is back Wednesday with Music Week, 10 to 2. Then on Thursday, 11 to 2 for the Urban Park Market. Happens along Cedar in your downtown. And the Cooperator is Timmins, looking for investments, life insurance plans. Call Sebastian Vermette and his team today, 705-264-4395, or stop in for a consultation. Located 239 Wilson Avenue. In Jackpot City Gaming, play some bingo today, Monday through Sunday, or try their progressive jackpots, located 251 First Avenue. And Royal LePage, Northern Realty Leaders, are you buying or selling? Put it into the capable hands of this guy, Albert Seal. He'll seal your deal, 705-465-3493. And Imagine Cinema's sensory-friendly movies are back all summer, every Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Tickets and showtimes online at imaginecinemas.com. And Timmins Little League Baseball gearing up for a fun week with the Little League Ontario Minor Provincial Championships, happening the week of the 28th through August 4th at Participark Diamond. Details at littleleaguetimmins.ca. And Dare Timmins, looking for you to become a board member. Join today with an inquiry or apply via email, daretimmins@gmail.com. And welcome to Timmins Night, calling all vendors. Do you want to book a booth for September the 6th? Welcome to Timmins Night. Book your booth today, 705-221-8622, or email them info@timminsmulticultural.ca. And are you looking for your next big summer read? Pick up Craig Baumken's Just a Normal Day. Books available on sale now at Altered Reality in downtown. You can also find a copy of it at the Timmins Public Library.
Did Kinsman do a good voice overlay for you?
That was impressive.
He's pretty good, eh?
Deep. He's got that. Were you born with that? Like, did you have that deep, or did you have to
I came
make
out
it?
of the womb talking like that.
Give
me my soother.
And he's detailed in real life too, okay?
Oh, is he?
All right, so we're gonna go out to eat, and I'm gonna park at the
Is he
second
like
parking
anal
spot.
detailed? Is it like
well,
that?
it's because he's born like he's from radio, so we always had to provide details of things.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
It's in his,
The,
which is
the
good.
voice box has been groomed.
Yeah, because I like to be scattered, so he balances us out.
Did you get teased a lot when you were young with that deep voice?
Well, not so much, but people always say, you sound like you're in radio. If I had $1 for every time someone said that, I'd be a millionaire by now.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the face for radio. Did you hear that one?
I used to get that a lot,
the face.
I still have a face for radio.
Well, it's too bad you're heading back because this weekend is Rock on the River. It's a pretty amazing 2-day festival we have here. And we're going to, by the way, Kinsman, we got tons of tickets to give away.
We do. Yes, we do. And again, we're going to be part of it all day Friday, all day Saturday.
So Friday, we're going to be hosting a scavenger hunt in the Family Free Zone for 2 general admission tickets. Saturday, we're going to be having band trivia for 2 general admission tickets. And coming up probably tomorrow, we got 2 VIP tickets for Papa Roach.
For Papa Roach. And
That's
again, details on how to win those coming up very soon. Yes.
There we go. So I know you got to head back home,
But I've heard about it. I've heard it's good. Yeah.
Swing back this way this weekend.
Oh, just
Swing
hop
on
in the
down.
car and drive those 10.
Yeah, you
10,
got to
11
do
hours.
it.
Yeah,
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chris. We appreciate you and everyone checking in. All right, Kinsman. So bowling. Pull out our bowling pass.
Yeah,
there.
we've got our bowling pass here. It's a family pass, 1 lane, 1 hour from Midtown Bowl.
No, we can't see that. Let's see.
Hang on here. Let's
What
try
if I went over there?
Right
Right in front of
right over
Craig's
Craig's face.
There you go.
There we go. So Midtown Bowl. Now in the book, you just call it the bowling alley.
I think I did. Yeah, I think it was just a bowling alley. Yeah.
Yeah.
But trust me, if people read the book, they will recognize. I talk about the parking lot, Value Village, everything. People will recognize going into, because I went in and scoped it all out, and played a couple of games of bowling and tried to get the feel with the disco ball going overhead, and everything. But people will recognize it, yeah.
Doing the rock and bowl.
Yeah, they
Doing
will.
the
They'll
rock and
recognize
bowl.
it. They
They're
will.
coming off a big Hawaiian night. Which
Yes,
was a big
Hawaiian.
success,
And
by the
in
way.
fact, Hawaii night and Hawaiian nights went so well. They're doing it all this week. Nat says.
Yes.
So go and have some Hawaiian swag and some fun. And again, rock and bowl is Hawaii themed.
There we
Lots
go.
of fun.
All right, Ronnie, it's time for the Wheel of Winning. It says family pass. So how much family can fill up to what? 6 people
I
per
think
win,
it's
right?
good up to, let's say, 5, 6. Just bring your family. I'm pretty sure Nat will accommodate all. And again, you get the 1 lane, 1 hour, and includes your shoe rental.
All right, Ronnie, roll the Wheel of Winning. Ronnie's quick on the draw. We can never replace him. He's so quick here.
Remember what alley you were at, or what lane number you were at?
Yeah, I was the one
Debbie.
second from the end on the right.
Okay, second.
Debbie.
From the end on the right.
Debbie.
Hey,
Do
Debbie.
It Now is
That's right.
off for the family pass for Midtown Bowl.
There we go. Congratulations, Deb. So how is Debbie going to get her pass?
We'll get in touch with Debbie right after the show, and then we'll figure out how to get that pass to you, Deb.
There we go. Okay, awesome. So, Ronnie, let's go full screen again for a second. Yeah. Oh, Ronnie's getting good at that, right? So now
getting good.
is the copy of the. This is my copy. I'm not giving this away, but you have a copy for a
yes, I
winner.
do. Yes, I do.
He
And
signed
it's
my
going to be
book here.
professionally autographed by
professionally
Craig
Oh, look.
to the winner.
Kinsman,
Personalized.
You missed page 391. Jamie Bomp stabs Mark Finsman in the neck and lets
And the
him
blood,
bleed
the
out.
blood is
That's
gushing
it.
straight
I do
out.
Too many
spurts.
cliches
I made it-
after having a bite to eat at the Broadway.
I made a quick editing note. Do you mind that?
No,
we could just
no.
reprint, right?
Of course we can. Yes, absolutely.
And you're going to sign it
Absolutely.
to the winner?
to the winner. So let's
That's
find out
exciting.
who's going to be in the pages here.
All right,
Yeah.
Ronnie. So let's get back in action, Jack. Oh, is that going to stand up again?
Well, yeah, she's pretty thick. She'll stand
All
up.
right.
All right, ready to go
Ronnie,
there, Ronnie?
well, you got to share it there. There he goes. All right, let's draw again.
Draw one more time, and again, we'll see who's going to be walking away. Just a normal day until they make the stop to Timmins.
Oh, yeah.
Trisha!
There we go.
Copy.
There we
There you
go.
go,
We can
Trish.
sign it. Let's sign it up for Trisha. Absolutely.
Congrats. We'll have that autographed,
Yeah.
and we'll figure out how to get that to Trisha.
Yeah. Trisha's on a roll on
Yeah,
this show,
she
isn't
is.
she?
Yeah, she won. She's won some bowling.
She
passes
deserves some
already.
luck. She had a vehicle that caught on fire, and
my God.
now dealing with insurance companies nightmare. But they just got a new set of wheels.
New set of wheels.
So,
So yeah,
there we go.
so congrats.
Yeah, congrats. So we hear that who is that? Ronnie's off for a haircut tomorrow. You off for a haircut tomorrow, Ronnie?
He's going to see Chris Costigan.
Yeah, that's right. He's one of our best, if not the best,
Yes.
barber.
And
I
again,
need a haircut, too. So
You need
Well,
a
there you
haircut.
go. Go see
Yeah,
Chris.
I do.
13th
Yeah.
Avenue Barber Shop.
Great.
And you say you like the old school feel, the 8-tracks.
Oh, yeah.
You walk
Oh,
into
yeah.
Chris's
Oh my God, there
barbershop
you go.
there.
Yeah.
Chris is an old school
Yeah.
guy
Oh,
too.
they're
Like he
perfect,
doesn't
yeah.
like EMTs or any of that. He likes everything the old way, which isn't bad, you know. The old way.
Their cash register, if you watch one
Oh.
of the episodes, I think it's in I think he was saying Friends. They got the same cash register.
Oh my God,
That's
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Oh, he's booking into next week. He's already been.
I may have to make
Well,
the drive back, I guess.
Kinsman's going to
Chris
get.
can do house calls now. I'm just
Mark's
kidding.
going to get his beard shampooed for 3 straight days, so it's got him log jammed. Couldn't squeeze in a minute for our guest here.
No.
All right. Well, let's post to his webpage there, Ronnie.
Yeah, let's post it again. And
keep up
again,
to
you can
date.
also
Yeah.
go, what is mybook30.com?
mybuck30.com, yeah. And
So
that's
the
where you can
webpage,
find a
Ronnie,
lot of
so go to
information
private
about
chat?
me. Yep.
Lots of info.
Lots of info, journey.
Read
I
up
took a
on the
lot of
book.
pictures that are on there about the journey of writing the book and such. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking a stab at some short stories, which I posted on there, which is a whole different world. But you know, you practice writing and stuff like that, and people come in your lives, so you create a short story. One day, I was actually walking in the winter down in Prescott, and I found a $50 bill in the street. And I bent down and I thought it was a prank. You know, you thought somebody
Yeah.
dropped, and they were like looking, you know, that was
Wait
it.
to see if you're going to give it back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But nobody did, so I picked it up, and then about 10 minutes later, I ran into someone in front of the convenience store down there, and she was asking for cigarette money. So I gave her the $50, made her night. And I walked home, and actually an hour later, wrote a short story about that. Called 50.
Wow.
Called 50. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So yeah, it was very, and you know, to be honest with you, that's what you get when you write or you do stuff like you guys do. When you get out, you encounter and you meet people, and these things happen, right? And then that's how you write books and how you do things, and that's how, like, you know, people make songs and such too. Yeah.
You have to experience life.
Oh
is what
yeah,
you're
you do.
telling us.
Seriously, yeah, you do. I mean, you got to be careful, right? Because you don't want to have drama and you don't want to get hurt, or you want. But that's how you write books. That's how you do it. Yeah. Yeah.
That means if we want to be authors, we have to get life's Kinsman. Here's our struggle right here.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just stick to reading your books.
There you go.
My fishing story would make it in there.
Yeah,
First
fishing,
chapter.
Are you an
Was it
outdoors
really
person?
this big?
Actually, it's interesting because in the early part of the book, there's a couple of boat incidents down in the Peterborough area.
Yeah.
And actually, those boat incidents that I wrote about actually happened to me, were real and actually, in truth, very painful. So there was one of those cases where I wrote about them. I'm not a hunter or anything, but I was always the water skier, boats, the speed boats, power boats. I've done sailing too, so such like that, yeah. But there's where a case I took some really painful life experiences and then wove it into the story, and I think it worked. I hope so. But yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we encourage people to check it out, and Tricia says she's
Just a normal
super
day.
excited to read it, and you know, Debbie says thanks for her bowling pass. And
Yes.
There we go.
Congratulations to our winners. And yeah, Trish is going to have that personally autographed by
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want engraved in it there, Tricia? You can send us a private message.
Yeah.
And we'll take care of it while
do
the good
that.
man's still here.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
we appreciate you.
Yes.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Thanks for making the trip all
Yeah.
the way
Yeah,
from
thank you.
Prescott to
Yeah.
little old Timmins to take part in tonight's show.
Yeah.
To showcase
How big
your
is
book.
Prescott?
2,000-3,000 people. It's a tiny. It's right on the border to the U.S.
Yeah.
Ogdensburg, New York. It's great, and it's a straight 45-minute drive up Highway 416 to Ottawa. So my kids are up there, so it's like really close. And small town living, I think we have three traffic lights in town. That's it. But there's a Tim Hortons, a Giant Tiger,
Yeah.
a Canadian Tire. You don't need anything else.
You know, you
You're
live
golden.
in a small town is perfect because every true crime, it was a small town.
Exactly.
Nothing happened until today.
Exactly.
Right? The murder that rocked the town.
Well, actually, in the sequel, I'm going to start it. Actually, I'm going to start sequel in Prescott. Actually.
There you go.
Yeah, just because I live there, right? You know, I can do that. Yeah. So quickly, how the title came about, Just a Normal Day, is what in truth was a cliche and play on words, because everybody, no matter where you're going, you're searching for just a normal day. The normal day is not too high, not too low, those things where you can just get through the day. And halfway through the book, that wasn't the title. I had a different title, I think, called Click Connected or something. And all of a sudden one day a song came on from Supertramp, and it's a very mundane song, melancholy song about, you know, the person's just going through the day, and I went, that's it. And that's what, because we're all searching for, seriously, we're all searching for a normal day. We're all searching for just not too high, not too low, just life can be.
Just a normal day.
And that's where the title came from.
Interesting.
And Pete's still, I'm not going to give too much away, but Pete's still looking.
He's still
He's
looking,
still looking for that
Kinsman.
just a normal day, yeah.
Still look. Well, you got to find out
on
all
the
about
search.
him right here.
And it starts again in Prescott.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, then we go to everything you've heard is true, which is again that whole play on words there too, because pretty well everything you have heard is true. Yeah.
We appreciate
Wow,
you a lot.
this is awesome, yeah.
I can't wait to keep going on it. And thanks everyone for watching tonight. There's the good man right here.
Yeah.
Ronnie, we'll get ready to close it out. And don't forget, I kill Kinsman in the next book. Let's just settle
Thanks
that.
a lot, guys.
we'll
I
see
really
what happens.
appreciate this. Thank you very much.
right,
I
Craig.
really appreciate this.
Have
yeah.
a good night, eh, bud?
Yeah.
Escúchame, baby, yo te quiero, baby. Sin ti no valgo la pena, sin ti esto es una condena. Escúchame, baby, que te quiero, baby. Sin ti yo no quiero nada, mi mundo por ti esperaba. Y te digo, y es que si me voy de aquí, sin ti yo me voy a morir, es mucho el dolor que siento hoy. ¿Y qué más va a ser de ti? Sin mí tú vas a sufrir, es mucho el dolor, entiéndelo. Yo sin ti muero de pena, yo siento que me estoy cayendo, sin ti yo ya no tengo aliento. Para ti mi vida entera, prefiero un rato con tus besos y que me duren todo el resto. Escúchame, baby, yo te quiero, baby. Sin ti yo no quiero nada, mi mundo por ti esperaba. Y te digo, y es que